Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome on in. Hey, Beth. Hey, Luca. Hey, Carolyn. How's everybody doing? Tamsin. What's going on? Hey, everybody, come on in. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. I'm back. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Fix your hand and ten. Hi, Polly. Hope you've recovered well. I'm feeling okay. Um, I'm a little. I don't know. I'm kind of tired. Just real tired. But besides that, I'm doing well. Yeah, besides that, I'm doing well. Just tired. Whenever you're under, I don't know about you guys. Whenever I'm under sedation, I'm uh, like I don't know. It just feels like it takes me like a week to like recover from the sedation. I don't know what it is. I don't do well being sedated. I wanna be sedated. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Oh, 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 oh. What's up, only one? How you doing? I I always like I'm so tired every single time. Yeah. Yeah, drugs are bad. Okay. Yeah, every single time it takes me like a week to recover. I hate it. I hate it. Now you want to play Rock Band? That would be fun actually. I would actually enjoy that. I would actually enjoy that. Yo, welcome on in. If you guys are over on the tubes, hit that thumbs up button. If you guys are over on the talks, please tap that screen. Really appreciate you guys. Yeah. All right, there we go. Now we're up at the 5K. Now I can bring up my backup account. Start to be. Why are you guys in? Why are MAGA in such rush all the time? I think you've been on for 1 minute. Why haven't you started debates yet? Like, calm down, dude. Relax. This is why you guys crash out of my live all the time. You guys need a good therapist, man. You guys need a good therapist. Like, relax. It's okay. Breathe. What's up, Matt and Erica Raiders? What's going on? How you guys doing? Man, everybody coming on over. That's great. Why is it doing that? Yeah, it's glitching really hard already. Oh my god, it is. It is freaking freezing on me. What is going on? Hmm. Interesting. If you guys can hear me, I know it's frozen, but I can't do anything about it. It's not me. I mean, I can see that it's frozen, but I'm not doing anything. Yeah, I can see that it's frozen, but I'm not doing anything. See if I can do this real quick. Let's try it. Can you guys hear me at least? Anyways, hey everybody, how's everybody doing? Yeah, YouTube is fine. So YouTube is always fine. YouTube is always fine. It's never the problem. Well, rarely the problem also. Rarely the problem, I'll say. Rarely, rarely, rarely. All right. That was interesting on how I had to fix that. Anyways. Welcome on in. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate you guys. I don't know what was just going on. I don't know what was going on. I had to do a whole bunch of restarting stuff over there. Anyways. Hope you guys are all having a good one. Really appreciate you guys. As you guys come in, please again tap that screen. I don't know what's going on. It froze when I tried to. When I tried to bring up. When I tried to bring up that account, it just freaking froze. And now it's being all glitchy. But for the rest of you guys, hey, for you guys who aren't like glitching out over there. It's being so glitchy. All right, welcome on in, y'all. Thank you guys so much for being here. We're gonna get this thing started. Like I said, I'm already ready to start some debates up. I was just trying to fix everything over here. But what's going on, Perspicious? I've always messed up your name. What's going on, Sean? How you doing? Alan, what's going on? Ogden, Milford, Tony, Blinded, everybody over there. Securiton over there. Tatted, what's going on? All right, well, I had a caller in there, but now I guess we're not gonna have that. Yeah. The tubes was even glitching for a second. That's okay. That happens. Maybe it's just a day for that. Y'all, everybody who tuned in and watched my podcast, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much for checking that out. If you guys haven't watched my podcast yet, please do. I would really, really appreciate that, no matter which platform you watch your podcast on. Yeah, whichever one you watch your podcast on, I'd really appreciate it. If you guys go and watch it. If you guys haven't watched it yet, that's totally okay. That's totally all right. It's still there. It's not going anywhere. It's still there and it's not going anywhere. So that's the good news. If you still support Trump, you can join the guest request box. Or if you're a Republican, you can join the guest request box. Or you can call in on the number that's above my head also. Yeah. It's podcasts are notoriously slow to start. Okay. They're notoriously slow. So it's not really surprising. That, of what's going on, but that's all good. I for everybody who watched it, I hope you enjoyed it. Again, it was my first one ever. I don't know what I'm doing. So I hope it turned out all right. It's one of those things where you have to It's just like everything else. It's a learned task. It's not something that you're supposed to be perfect at right off the bat, you know? But I'll tell you, for those of you who have watched it, in the comments that you've seen on there, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. If you guys I still haven't watched it and you plan to watch it, please make sure you guys leave a comment. If you guys watch it on on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on any iHeart, Amazon, all the different platforms that have them on, because they're on all of them. Leave a comment, leave a rating. That would be excellent. That'd be amazing. If you guys would do that also. Yeah, so if you guys do that, that's great. I promise you, if I can see it, I'll respond to whatever comments you leave. So I really, that'd be really, really awesome. But yeah, they're notoriously hard to get started. Notoriously. Oh, thanks, Stacy saying my podcast put her to sleep. So apparently, if you want something to put you to sleep, Stacy said my podcast is a great way to do it. Hey, Francesca. Yeah, not a problem. And disappoint. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, no, I don't think it's that boring. I don't. But if you need to watch it to put you to sleep, if that's what my podcast gets known for, is the best bedtime story you've ever had, hey, at least it was the best at something. Okay. Cute girl. What the fuck? At least it's the best at something, right? Oh my goodness. It is glitching so bad, isn't it? I'm glad you guys thought it was all right. That's what it is. All right. Hold on. I think I know what's going on here. Let's see. Hold on. I'm working on it. But yeah, anyways, please check out the podcast. If you guys haven't already, please, 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 please. I would really, really appreciate it. It's definitely something I've been putting a lot of work into, and definitely something that I've been really trying hard to get going. So yeah, it would really mean a lot. So I really appreciate that. All right. And the one person I was about to bring up just left because they have the patience of children. All right. There we go. Anyways, yeah, just trying to get established. So, guys, if you didn't watch it yet, it's okay. I forgive you. It's all right. Not a big deal. Okay? Not a big deal. My timeline for what kind of views I was looking at, my timeline was I'm going to check it at the I'm going to check it at I'm going to check it at the end of the weekend. So, if you guys just watch it by the end of the weekend, that would be really awesome. All right? If you just check it by the end of the weekend, that would be more than great. That'd be so awesome. I understand people get busy. Okay. Got somewhere to drive, throw it on. Maybe not throw on the video part. Maybe don't throw on the video part. Maybe not that while you're driving. Maybe not. But yeah, go check it out. The Polypolitics Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. Hello, how are you? All right, and goodbye. Josh was there. Josh is gone. We have a bunch of people jumping in and out. That's okay. King, it's on everywhere. If you want to listen to podcasts on your iPhone, On Apple Podcasts, if you listen to Spotify, if you listen to YouTube, it doesn't matter. If you can get a podcast on it, it's on there. Okay? If you can get a podcast on it, it's on there. Yeah. You can't comment on Apple Podcasts? That's wild. Oh, Matt, that's why they're coming into my live saying that. Matt sent me a screenshot of what the hell you guys were talking about. Yeah, I heard my podcast team said that even the video podcasts are getting really difficult on Apple because they're still kind of rolling it out. So, so that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. So, but if you watch on YouTube or Spotify or any of the other places, make sure you leave a comment. Wherever you are, even if you can't leave a comment on Apple, it's still good to listen there. It's totally okay. Okay, I'm counting every single one. Hello, how are you? I'm doing great. How old are you? Yeah, do you still support Trump?
And growing in this faith, I became very pro-life and pro-loving towards others. And part of how
So you decided to vote for the Antichrist because you turned your life over to God? That makes sense.
No, that's not at all what I said.
Well, I mean, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like you were like, God gave me a second chance, and I decided to vote for the Antichrist right after that.
Is this
you were like screw God, like he gave me a chance, and I'm gonna swing it the other way around.
I would love to have a conversation, but you'll have to let me finish my
point. Sir, I would love to have a conversation too, but I don't need your life story in between it. Why do you support Trump?
I'm going to speak the way I'm going to speak. If you want to have this conversation, I have no problem with that.
Does the conversation require your entire life story? No. If your conversation requires your entire life story, then you're right. I don't want to have it.
Then shut up and hang up, because you are a disrespectful person.
How can I shut up and hang up, sir? I'd be shutting you up.
You don't have the power to shut me up. Not you, nor all the power of hell, brother.
Want to bet?
I vote pro-life.
And look, he shut up. Wow, that's crazy. Check out how I just shut him up. Isn't that wild? Isn't that crazy how I just did that? It wasn't even hard. It was literally 2 clicks of a button. Like it wasn't even difficult. It wasn't even a little bit hard. Why do you support Trump? Well, it all started when my dad went out for milk when I was 2. Bro, dude, come on, man. We got to get there faster than that. We got to get there faster than that. All right? We got to get there faster than that. That's all I'm saying. All right? I got dinner reservations tomorrow night, all right? Jesus. Hello, how are you?
Hi there, what's going on? I am a supporter of Donald Trump. And I would say it's more so just because, like, I feel like I can't trust any Democrats. but rather I can trust on Republicans to at least enforce immigration policies, to defund Planned Parenthood, which Donald Trump had done, to just not be so permissible of violent crime.
Awesome. First of all, how old are you?
I'm 23.
Awesome. Cool. Which border immigration policy did Joe Biden not enforce?
Well, the southern border, I believe, between
The
Mexico and
southern border
America.
is not an immigration policy. Which immigration policy did Joe Biden not enforce?
Okay, well, I mean, I believe we've deported 20,000 illegal citizens, right? Or illegal people?
Deporting illegal citizens, I don't even know what that means, is not a policy.
Illegal aliens.
Which law did Joe Biden not enforce when it came to immigration? That is the question.
Well, I know that Kamala Harris or Joe Biden, one of the two was, they were enforcing the border when 300,000 children have gone missing.
Still wrong. That's also still not a law.
Okay, well, who is the one overseeing the border patrol?
Secretary Mayorkas.
It was like, yeah, it was the secretary of whatever position Kamala Harris was.
Kamala Harris didn't have a secretary position. She was the vice president.
She was overseeing border patrol.
Nope, that would be Secretary Mayorkas, the Secretary of Homeland Security. That's whose job
Okay,
that
well,
is.
maybe I can't think of a specific immigration policy, but more so like I just see the Democrats, they have allegiances to terrorist organizations, for example.
Like which one?
The money that they have been fraudulently stealing has actually been funding terrorist groups by extension in Somalia.
Okay, and what proof of that do you have?
I mean, I don't have any. I've heard of it. I've heard of this, as an affirmation,
You've
but it was
heard
a
of this
suspicion
as
of
an
mine.
affirmation? Like it was like on your
It
it was
makes
like a
sense,
daily
buddy.
affirmation call? Like what are you talking about?
Hold on now. If you really inspect Barack Obama and his administration, how much money have we subsidized to the Iranian regime?
I think us subsidized zero. We've subsidized zero.
Well, we had released sanctions on Iranian assets that were valued at over $100 billion.
Incorrect. They're around $3 billion.
No, they
Donald
had
Trump on
increased
the
in
other
value.
Donald
They
Trump
had
on the other
increased in
hand,
value.
yeah, Donald Trump on the other hand is willing to release sanctions, and it's already been released of $300 billion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like necessarily releasing any money to the Iranians, you know. But I know that Barack Obama did send a lot. He actually violated international law by sending $400 million plus another 1.3 billion. Would you like to hear about that
That's
one?
just a pure lie. So
No. This is true.
no, I mean
Verified.
like
This
that.
is
I mean that.
documented.
I mean they didn't even. He didn't even send them money. That's not even.
Okay, so in 1979, when they took back hostages from the embassy in Iran, they had captured hostages, and Barack Obama in 2016 or 2015 sent $400 million plus 1.3 billion in interest. In that same weekend, they released those American hostages. So he said that there was no correlation between the two events, but yet anybody with common sense can see that he literally exchanged money for ransom.
Now let me ask you a question. Did Barack Obama release that money from that?
Yes, it was
Listen to
Barack
what I'm
Obama.
saying. How do you know what I'm even going to say? What was I going to say?
What is your question?
Well, then how are you answering it if you don't know
Tell
what I was
me,
about to
why
say?
did the Obama administration violate
Sir, I was in
international
the
law?
middle of asking you a question. You don't get to ask me one right now. I need you to be quiet so I can ask it. Okay? Was it Barack Obama who released that, or was it the court system that released it because Iran had been asking for that money since the 70s, and the court released that money?
I don't know. I'd have to look into
The
it.
court released that money. Yeah, it was the court, okay, that said that money actually belonged to them. They had been fighting the court system. Iran had been fighting the court system for that money for a long time. Now, was there a correlation between that money and the JCPOA? I wouldn't be surprised if there is, okay? Like maybe Barack Obama behind the scenes was like, hey, maybe we should just give them their own money back so they don't get nuclear weapons, which I'm totally okay with, sir. I'm totally okay with Iran having money as opposed to them having nuclear weapons, personally.
We
Okay,
also know that they're the largest state sponsor of terrorism in the
then
world.
why is Donald Trump offering them $300 billion?
I don't agree with that either.
Okay, then why are we talking about it? Why are you so concentrated?
Because
Listen, nope. My question's not done.
Republicans
Nope,
inherently enforce policies that
my question's
protect
not
people.
done. My question's not done. Okay. Why are you hyper focused on the release of sanctions under the Obama administration while saying that you support Republicans when Republicans, i.e., Donald Trump and the entire Congress, which is Republican, why are you supporting them doing literally like 100 times the amount that Barack Obama did?
Because he put a lot of faith and trust into the Iranian regime, which we know that, they had denied access to one of the inspectors from the IAEA. These people are unreliable and untrustworthy, and they need to be treated as so. So I don't even know
So
why we
you're
had
saying
entered
that they're
negotiations.
unreliable and untrustworthy, but yet you think that Donald Trump should give them $300 million,
300 million?
300 billion, excuse me.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. No, I don't think that we should give them that money. But like the
So
Democratic
let's
Party,
be
they
so let's
just
be clear. Let's be clear. So Barack Obama, under that administration, all right, as a release of sanctions and money that was already Iran's, right, released funds in the total of about $3.4 billion. Okay, and due to that, we didn't have to go to war. We didn't have to drop a bomb. Not a single American soldier died, and we kept nuclear weapons out of the hands of Iran. Donald Trump killed 15 American soldiers, spent $1 billion a day on a war, freaking sent Tomahawk missiles into children's schools just to give them more money to get the exact same thing, which he still hasn't even accomplished. By the way, he's offering all of that, and he still hasn't accomplished it. We're still at war. We're still attacking Iran. Iran is still attacking U.S. assets. So even with all of that stuff, Donald Trump still hasn't actually accomplished doing any of that
I mean, why are you only asking about Donald Trump and his
because
mishaps?
he's
Why
the
don't you care
president.
about? I mean, this altercation has been dragging on since the Ronald Reagan administration
Yeah, and then under the
with
Obama
Iran.
administration, we finally got a deal where they wouldn't get nuclear weapons, and then Donald Trump pulled us out of that deal,
That's
that
that's
historic deal,
because it
that
was
deal
not
that
being
took 20.
enforced.
That yes, it was completely being enforced, and the IEA said so, right? But literally a 20-month negotiation on a deal to keep nuclear weapons out of the hand of Iran, and Donald Trump threw it away for one reason and one reason only, and that's because he's jealous of Barack Obama, and that's it.
What would there be to be jealous of? I mean, all the
Oh
all
my
that this
God,
man had
Barack
done.
Obama's smarter, better looking, accomplished way more for the American people. See, unlike Donald Trump, who's literally having to build buildings for himself, he's having to build arches and ballrooms and name them all after himself. The reason why he has to do that is because in the future, nobody's going to name shit after Donald Trump, right? No one's going to look back, right, and go like, hey, Donald Trump deserves to have something named after it, but Obama will, right? Obama will be, the first, black president in American history who accomplished things like the largest, healthcare bill in the United States, had a Nobel Peace Prize, something Donald Trump, will never even sniff in his entire life, right? And he'll get that. Barack Obama will get that recognition later, and Donald Trump will just get known as, oh, he ran. Well, Donald Trump will just get known as some piece of shit president that allowed us to barely escape fascism. Yeah. Hopefully people in the United States will get to the point where we can barely escape fucking being the second iteration of freaking 1930s Germany. Anyways, I don't know why he ran. I thought we were having a conversation over here, but that's fine. Y'all, make sure you guys tap that screen, hit that thumbs up button. I really appreciate you guys. If you still support Trump, you can call in on the number above my head, or you can join the multi-guest request button over there. Yeah, I didn't. But that's okay, guys, because Donald Trump has the FIFA Peace Prize, which is like the same. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. Y'all, if y'all would like to support the live, I do have super chats. I do have memberships and gifted memberships. I have the little coffee magic goal going on up there. I'd love to knock that out early so I can try to get a couple more in there. If you guys wouldn't mind, and have a couple of coins burn a hole in your pocket. Speaking of things burning a hole in your pocket, if you guys have one of those follows or one of those subs, burn a hole in your pocket and you're liking the content, please hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I appreciate you guys. Speaking of with Norm, thank you so much for the flow state. Oya, thank you so much for those coffee magics. I just saw who sent those. Thank you. Pixie, thank you so much for the Sunday. Fernando, thank you so much for the flow state. Milford, thank you so much for the $5. Said your hard work on the podcast shows, Polly. I enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Milford. Again, y'all, if y'all have not watched the podcast, it is on Spotify, it is on Apple Podcasts, it is on YouTube, it is on everywhere. So please go check it out wherever it is. The Polypolitics podcast. It is live everywhere. So go check it out. I really, really appreciate all of you guys who have already watched it and all of you guys who will watch it very, very soon. All right. Thank you so much, Milford. Sean, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Said, Dear Maggie, your bullshit and disinformation does not cover your racism. We see right through it. We do. We see straight through that sucker. we see it every single day. Thank you so much, Sean. And Capo, thank you so much for the 10 gifted memberships over there. Huge W's in the chat for Capo for the 10 gifted memberships. That is absolutely huge. Thank you so much, Capo. Huge W's in the chat for Capo and for everybody else who gifted right there. I really appreciate that. Also, speaking of the podcast, I think I added it to my link tree where you should be able to see all versions wherever the podcast is at. You should be able to go into my link tree and you should be able to see it from there. So if you can't find it or you need to look for it, check my link tree. It should be in there over there that way. All right. Thank you so much, Capo. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Yo, I'm good. What about you?
I'm great. How old are you?
20?
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
Yeah.
All right. Why is that?
Why?
Why is that?
Probably because he's the least worst option right now.
The least worst option? Would that make him
Yep.
the least? That's like a double negative, right? How does that work? Least worst option. I get confused. So that's a double negative. So that a positive? Is that what we're going for?
Hear me out. No, so it's because right now the political system is just terrible, and he's like the least bad of the options. Like, I mean that the Democrats are worse right now, but not necessarily that the Republicans are good.
All right. How are the Democrats worse?
But first of all, let's just take a look at the inflation rates under Joe Biden.
Sure. What was the inflation rate when Joe Biden left office?
They went up like, I think it was 8%, right, on 2022?
I didn't ask about 2022. Biden was still president for 2 more years after that. What was the inflation rate when Joe Biden left office?
When he left off would be, what year would that be? 2024? Yep. Wasn't it like 3%?
I don't know. You tell me, man. What was it?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Okay. So here's the inflation rates. So let's see. 2024. And then 2020, he actually left December 2024 would have been his last full month, right? So it looks like in January, 2025 he would have had half of that one. So we'll say 2.9 or 3%, depending on which one you want. What's the inflation rate right now?
Right now, this exact day?
Well, the last recorded month, which I believe the June numbers or the May numbers are about to come out. So I think we only have the April numbers. So what was the last recorded inflation rate?
Could you tell me? I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, it's 3.8%. Yeah, 3.8. Yeah. So the inflation rate is higher now than when Donald Trump took over the country as the president from Joe Biden. Joe Biden had a lower inflation rate when he left than Donald Trump has currently.
It is, but if we want to talk on average, Joe Biden is way higher.
Well, if we want to talk on average, then you're just including COVID numbers.
Yeah, wasn't COVID terrible?
Yeah, COVID was terrible. Can you explain to me how COVID was Joe Biden's fault?
I never said that it was Joe Biden's
Well, the
fault.
inflation was worldwide. The entire world raised to almost a 10% inflation. Every single country on the planet experienced record high inflation due to COVID, right? So that's
Bet.
COVID's fault, right? So unless you can find a way to blame Joe Biden for COVID, I don't think we're going to blame a worldwide inflation rate caused by a pandemic on Joe Biden, right? What we should give credit to Joe Biden for is the fact that the inflation rate actually lowered, like at an astonishing rate. Like for a country our size and any country near our GDP, took a lot longer to lower their inflation rate. We actually recovered faster than any industrialized nation on the planet.
Yeah, all right. But I was born in another country, all right? I'm not going to specify. And that country had a significant worse pandemic than the United States and then recovered better with lower inflation. So I would not say it's COVID's fault.
We recovered faster than any industrialized, like any, like what old school would call it, first world or wealthy nation, all right, on the planet. We recovered. I don't know what nation you came from, right? But I assume, right, if that nation has a incredibly smaller GDP and doesn't deal with the exports and imports that the United States does, then yes, it may have recovered quicker because there wasn't that much to recover.
Perhaps.
I'm not saying
But
that
at
the
the
United
same
States was the best country on the planet. Like Sweden and Norway actually recovered ridiculously faster than we did, right? They're also like each the size of like one of our small states with a population about one of our small states with very few with a very small GDP, you know? So, yeah, I mean, that's not really a comparable thing. So that's what I'm saying. Like I'm talking about large countries with large GDPs we recovered faster than.
Yeah, all right, I'll take that. But at the same time, COVID was basically already over when Joe Biden took over.
COVID's still not over, and the fact that COVID was ending
I
was
never
we were the fact that we were coming out of the shutdown was the reason for the inflation. Yeah. So
wait,
that's the
explain,
whole reason, right? So when
wait,
everybody came out of lockdown, that's when everybody needed stuff, right? And when everybody needed stuff, all right. And we didn't have all of that stuff because a bunch of factories were shut down. We had a shutdown of shipping lanes. We had all of these problems caused by COVID. And now all of a sudden, people are traveling a lot more. We had gas that was, that was raising due to the OPEC plus deal and the, Russia's invasion of Ukraine. So we saw oil prices go up and then, prices of goods went up too. We had a shortage of durables all the way across the world. So, everything went up because of those things, right? Because we had a shortage of those things. We were short, especially in the United States, on chip manufacturing, which is the reason for the Chips and Sciences Act, that, things that required chips were a lot harder to get because we were getting them from Southeast Asia. So there was a lot of things that were caused by COVID, right? The shutdown of COVID. And when we reopened from COVID, that's when we started seeing all the issues from them. Of course, we're not going to see it while everything's shut down. No one's buying anything. No one's moving anything. Oil's not being used. Of course, we're not going to see a high inflation rate then.
all right, but so why would some people need stuff more after COVID? Wouldn't they need more stuff during COVID to be able to survive?
What? No.
How?
Why would that make any sense, sir?
Like, if someone is stuck in their house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't they need stuff more than if they're outside?
Sir, you need the same amount of food regardless.
Wouldn't that technically raise inflation because there's a shortage of products and there are more demand for products there aren't that many made?
Sir, people weren't working, okay? Why would you think that people had expendable income?
Why wouldn't they?
Because they weren't working.
Maybe they're lazy.
Maybe they're lazy because they got laid off because of COVID?
Maybe they shouldn't have gotten laid off.
Oh, okay. The government shutting down certain businesses and saying you can't go to work, that's totally lazy people's fault, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because that's government regulation and it shouldn't exist.
So which one is it? Is it government regulation or are they lazy?
Huh?
Which one is it? Is it government regulation or are they lazy?
You tell me.
You tell me, sir. A
That's
second
what.
ago, you said they were lazy, and then I said the government
Yeah,
shut down the businesses, and now you're saying it's government regulation. And I'm asking you which one it is.
both.
It's both. Gotcha. So not only is it government regulation that shouldn't exist, but that government regulation shut down businesses so people were lazy.
Yep.
Wow.
All right, so let's talk about that government regulation real fast. Why
No,
should it
I'm
exist?
good.
Why should government regulation exist?
Sir, if you can't answer me what you're saying out of your own mouth, then why would I keep talking to you about anything? What are you doing here, sir?
What do you mean? You never asked me a question.
I said which one is it, sir? It cannot possibly be both.
It can't be both. All right, government regulations then.
Okay, so you think it's government regulation stopping the spread of a communicable disease?
Yep.
How is that?
Huh?
How's that?
How's that? Because if there wasn't government regulations, businesses could basically do what they want, and people would not be forced to stay home. They could have gone to work under their own risk, and that could have potentially increased production, therefore lowering the recession.
Yeah, and then a whole bunch of more people would have died too.
That's what I'm saying. It's under their own risk.
Under their
And not
own risk, sir. So
and
like,
they
so
didn't
so
necessarily
so
have died
so you think that we should just
because,
allow people to die under their own risk? That's what you're saying.
I mean,
And why
there's
do we
many.
have anything, sir? Why do we have why do we have laws against against unaliving someone? Why do we have any laws against theft? We could just say,
Yo,
oh,
wait,
it's
hold
all
up,
government
hold up.
regulation, and so therefore, if you get robbed or you get if you get taken out, then that's just the risk that you have to take. That's just government regulation getting in the way.
If I'm not gonna say exactly what this is right now, but if there was a law against this pretty dangerous and evil thing, there'd be 600,000 more people in the United States each year. You know what that is?
Was that English?
No. Huh?
Was that English?
What do you think I'm speaking? Chinese?
I don't know what you're speaking, but it's not English.
You sure?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so abortion kills 600,000 babies a year, and you're saying, why is there laws against unaliving someone? Why aren't there laws against unaliving babies?
There are laws against unaliving babies. What's the definition of a baby?
Definition of the baby?
Mm-hmm.
What's the definition of a fetus? Let's start with that.
No, let's start with what the
Latin,
definition of a baby is, and then we can go there.
Latin definition. Hold up.
I don't give a fuck about the Latin. Do you speak Latin or do you speak English?
What do you speak?
I speak English. Can we get the English definition?
I mean, English does partially come from Latin, so
English comes from multiple different languages. In the English language in which we understand words in 2026, what is the definition of a baby?
an infant human.
A small child, one that is recently born. Okay? That's it. So abortion has never unalived a single baby because a baby has a requirement to be born. So this is why you guys always say baby, because you guys are trying to get an emotional response, and it doesn't work, sir. You guys just say that because you're trying to tug on the heartstrings of somebody, okay? That's not the way that works, all right, sir? Abortions happen to fetuses, and not to mention the fact that like 99.1% of all abortions happen before there's a viable fetus. And the other 0.9% only happen for where it becomes a danger to the mother.
All right, so let's get the definition of a fetus then. All right?
How about you just respond to what I said?
Why would I respond to what you said if you didn't ask a question?
You only respond to questions? Your life must be very difficult.
I mean, you're the one that's stuck in a room for like an hour just
Sir,
debating
we were in
people.
the middle of talking about something completely different, right? We were talking about literally COVID, and then out of nowhere, you're just like, abortion! You're the one who can't stay on topic, sir. Don't try to blame this on me. Okay. You're the one who needed to pivot off the conversation because you had no idea what you were talking about when it came to COVID, when it came to inflation, when it came to the reasons why our government shut down, right? And then you thought that you were just going to absolutely flip the conversation on its head by jumping to abortion, and within 2 seconds we understood that you don't know shit about that either. All right. So you're the one that did this giant pivot. I have no will to talk about abortion. I think it's a ridiculous thing for two men to sit up here and argue about what women should do with their bodies. You're the one that flipped the conversation because you don't understand anything about our economy. All right. So don't sit here and act to me, okay, like somehow I'm the one that's wrong in this conversation. All right. You went from your lack of understanding of the economy to the lack of understanding of abortion care. All right. You're the one who did that.
All right, so why you just mentioned that men should not be talking about what women should do with their own body, right? You said that?
Correct. Yes.
All right, so how is it their body if it's not their DNA?
How is it not their bodies if it's not their DNA? Do you understand what the difference in a body and a DNA type is?
Exactly, look, the fetus is not part of their body. Do you know why? Because it's not their DNA.
So what?
How?
Cancer can have a completely separate DNA set from the human that it's in. Does that mean that cancer isn't part of the body? Does that mean it's a separate living organism in which we should not be allowed to excise?
What?
You heard me?
Did you just say you want to not kill cancers?
Sir, that is not even close to what I said.
Then what'd you say?
I said that cancer can have a completely different DNA set from the host body in which it's in. Okay. Does that mean that we should not be able to excise cancer?
No, because it's not a human being.
Oh, gotcha. So now it doesn't matter if it's a separate DNA strain.
When did I say that?
You just said the only reason that we cannot excise a non-viable fetus, a woman cannot make the choice to do that, is because it's a separate DNA set. When I just said that cancer can have a separate DNA set, so therefore, what you're saying is if something it has a host body and a different DNA set, we should no longer be able to excise it. That's what you're saying.
All right, so let me say this: if your mom,
And you're
right,
just
when she was
continuing to
pregnant
talk
with-
about this too, aren't you?
huh?
How old did you say you were again?
I said 20 years old.
You're
Sir.
20 years old. Do you have any kids?
Huh?
Do you
Not
have any
yet.
kids?
Unmarried.
You're married? Okay, cool.
I'm not married.
You're not married. I didn't ask if you were married. I asked if you had any kids. You know that it's possible to have kids and not be married, right?
I know that. I
Okay,
said
just
I don't
checking.
have kids and I'm not married. I
Oh,
answered
okay, gotcha.
with a-
Do you have any woman that loves you that's not your mother?
not currently.
Okay, cool. When you do, if you ever have a woman, that loves you, that's not your mother, okay, or even your mother for that matter. I mean, hell, maybe your mom still gets down. Who am I to freaking judge, right? Like you're only 20. Hell, my daughter will be there before I know it, and I'm still partying. So we're still not partying, but you know what I'm saying. But you guys like when you have somebody that you care about, you should trust, okay, that woman in your life that they can make decisions when it comes to their own body, when it comes to their own pregnancy, when it comes to their own situations. You do not need to be making decisions for them, just like they should not be making decisions for you, right? They shouldn't be making decisions on whether or not you get a vasectomy or whether or not you have to, chop your foot off if you put a nail in it, a rusty nail to it, right? You should not be making they should not be making those decisions for you. You, as long as you are conscious, right, have the ability to make those decisions on your own, just like the women in your life should also be able to make those decisions on their own. All right. And you trying to interject yourself in there is just you as a 20-year-old man who has no idea, okay, about how a pregnancy works or how a woman's body works. You are now saying that you need to interject yourself, or that the government needs to interject yourself in between that woman's body right? And their doctor who is making a medical decision between them, okay? You should not have anything to do with that. You shouldn't be part of that conversation whatsoever, all right? And that's all I'm saying. And the fact that you feel that need, that comes from a historic need for a historic not need a historic precedent of men controlling women, and you've been taught that for some reason you have control over women because I don't know, maybe that's the way you were raised, or maybe that's the way that your family taught you or something like that, but you don't. All right, you don't have control over women. Women have control over women. People should have individual rights. People should have bodily autonomy, right, for themselves, not without your influence, right? And I don't care. Like if you personally wouldn't want to have an abortion, then that's fine. Or if you want to, if you want to choose your partner in that way, where you say, hey, like I'm against abortion, and I only want to marry somebody who's also in that same mindset, then you have the right to make that clear to the person. And if they disagree with you, then they have the right to leave that situation. Right? That's totally okay. But what you don't get to do is tell a bunch of women that you've never met, that you don't even know who the fuck they are, right? You don't get to tell them what the fuck to do. That's all I'm saying, man.
Yeah, understand that, but at the same time, I'm leading to an argument here, so I want to ask you a question to lead it. What's the difference? When does a baby become unabortable? Like, when can you not eliminate it anymore, in your opinion?
I don't have an opinion, sir. I don't need an opinion. You don't need an opinion either. You can't get pregnant. Okay?
All
Your
right.
your 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 idea of when an abortion happens is zero, because you don't get an opinion on abortion. Okay? First of all, we already discussed
Not.
the definition of
Why
babies.
not?
We already have a definition of babies, all right? And if the fetus is already viable, then the abortion is just the doctor, getting the baby, the fetus, out, and performing, usually a C-section or something like that, right? And then before viability, they wouldn't have lived outside the womb, regardless of that. And that's when, like I said, over 99% of abortions happen, right? So you're talking about something that can't live on its own, by itself, whatever. You're talking about a medical decision, right? And you're talking about a decision. First of all, pregnancy is already incredibly difficult on women, right? Like every single pregnancy is a danger to a woman's body, period, right? Just start there. And then if there's something that has to happen where there is a need, or for an abortion or a procedure or whatever medical procedure it is, that's already like probably one of the hardest, if not the hardest decisions that woman would have to make in her life. All right? That's an incredibly difficult decision that a woman would have to make. And I'm just saying, why are we making that harder? Why are we saying that we don't trust women? Right? Why would we say that?
So what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say, is that it's not that we don't trust women, but I don't feel like a woman should have the right to dictate if someone has a life or not. Like, and you said no, they wouldn't be able to survive on their own, right, outside of the womb.
Sir, I don't care what you
Then,
feel.
then,
The
then
day, sir, the
people,
day you get pregnant is the day you get to have a feeling about it.
yeah,
Yeah, and that's fine. If you want to personally just like sit in your own little cocoon, and you want to have those feelings, then whatever. You can have those feelings. All right? You can have those feelings.
all
You
right.
don't get to dictate those feelings to others. You see the difference?
How is it dictating to others?
Because you're creating laws saying that women can or cannot. You are voting in a way that says that women can or cannot have abortions. That's how you're voting. You're making it where the government is making that decision for others, okay, based off of your feelings.
It's not about my feelings. It's about
You just
something
said
that is
I
called.
feel, sir. You just said the words. I feel like a woman. Blah 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 blah. Whatever you said. I feel like were the first words that you said. They're your feelings, sir. You just said it.
There's a difference between a feeling and an opinion. One uses the word
And
I
and
feel
and sir,
with
whether it's
opinion
your
too.
feeling or your opinion, you can take both of them and shove it where the sun don't shine. I don't care. Have them to yourself. Don't dictate what other people are doing based off your opinions and your feelings. I don't care. Like if I had an opinion, right? If I had an opinion, right, that all men under the age of, of 21 today should go have a vasectomy. Do you think that that's okay that we legislate that you have to go down and get a vasectomy immediately?
There's a big difference because one dictates the
Yeah,
life of an
one
unborn
is a
child.
complete, yes, one, you're right. One of those procedures is completely fucking safe and completely reversible, and the other one is life-saving. You are correct. There are two different, there are very big differences between those two
Wait,
things.
hold up. There's more women that have died from an abortion than from a pregnancy in the United States.
Prove that.
Prove that? How am I supposed to prove that? I'm on a phone call.
Where did you read that information?
Says the numbers.
Where's that information from?
Bro, it's easy to find.
Awesome. Then tell me where I can easily find it.
The government files.
The government files. Is that the one with the aliens?
Huh?
Like the one with the aliens?
I'm talking about the public ones.
The public files of people's private medical records.
Those files are out there and they're public.
Dude, abortion care when abortion care especially, all right, when done early and in women that are healthy is insanely more safe than it is to be pregnant and to give birth. Insanely more safe.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about, sir?
I just said what I'm talking about. I'm talking about abortion and how kids should not be killed.
Sir, I don't think kids should be killed. Kids are born. They're running around. Okay? You are talking about unviable, all right, non-sentient clumps of cells.
Non-sentient clumps of cells. Then why wait, hold up. When you kill a pregnant woman...
Stop saying it. Stop. And first of all, I know what you're about to say, and that's that's actually only in a very, 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 very minute amount of cases, only in very, very certain states. It's actually not the majority.
Wait, hold up. So...
It's insane!
What?
That only happens in certain states under very specific circumstances. And only after and only in the months that they consider them viable. Can you claim a fetus on your taxes?
Huh?
Can you claim a fetus on your taxes?
You can claim that you're pregnant on your taxes.
Cool. Can you claim a fetus? Can I get freaking a child tax credit from a fetus? Can if I get somebody pregnant tomorrow, can they start collecting child support on me the next day?
They get pregnancy care.
Can they start collecting child support on me?
Huh?
Can they start collecting child support on me?
Bro, it's the same thing but with a different name.
No, you're over here saying, oh, well, the law says this. No, first of all, the law doesn't say what you're saying. Second of all, you can't claim a fetus on your taxes because they're not considered, because they're not born. You can't claim child support on it because they're not born. The Constitution says that you get rights in this country as all persons born. You have to be born in the Constitution, you have to be born in order to have rights in this country. Born, sir, born. All right. All of those things happen when you're born. All right. You're the one making up this other stuff.
Yeah, but when does human life start?
Everything has human life. So your skin cells are human life. When you get your hair cut, you are cutting off human life. Okay. When you get cancer excised or have a biopsy, you are excising human life according to cellular human life. All right. If that's what you want to talk about. All right. If you want to talk about cellular human life, that's when it starts. All right.
Human life starts at conception, and from there on, it's
according to what?
Right.
According to what?
According to what? Oh, biomedical sciences.
Biomedical life says cellular life. Okay? Cellular life exists in all different forms. I just named about 4.
I said human life.
They're
human
all
life.
human life. No, all that science says, I've read those studies that all you guys talk about. I've read them over and over. I'm sure you haven't, but I have read them over and over and over. All it says, okay, is that human cellular life exists at this point. That's it. Okay, and human cellular life exists in all like in all different types of forms. Okay, if you have a wart and you freeze off a wart, you are freezing off cellular human life.
But it's not a life.
It's not a, sir. No, what is the definition of a life?
A human life, anything past conception.
No, that's not. You're given a time frame. What is the definition of it?
What do you mean?
What is the definition of human life?
How is that relevant?
Because you keep claiming human life, and I don't think you have a definition for what human life is.
All right, look. I don't have it on my memory right now.
No, I'm not asking for your memory. If you keep saying human life, then you need to be able to tell me what human life is.
Basically, a human that is not dead. In my mind, that's the definition.
A human that is not dead. So your definition of human is human.
Is there even a definition of a human, though?
Yeah.
The most advanced on this planet?
Yeah, there's definitely a definition. You can't respond with, I think a human is a human. Okay, that doesn't mean anything. You don't know what a human life is, sir. Again, you are literally playing completely off of your emotion, right? And you're allowing your emotion to dictate how you feel about something that has no basis. All right?
All right. Look, I want to end on this one question completely.
I'm good.
Because I actually have to go. And I'm actually serious.
Then please leave. And when you go, take your opinions and your feelings with you.
All right. So this one question is.
No.
Just to answer.
No.
Who's winning the World Cup?
No. I said no.
Who's winning the World Cup?
No.
No one's winning the World Cup?
No.
Why?
No.
What do you mean, no?
I said no question. Do you not understand consent? Is this why you want to ban abortion so much? Because you don't understand consent?
How does that make any sense?
Bye. That came full circle really quickly, didn't it? By the way, USA, 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 USA. All right. Sorry, I actually really like soccer, so I can't. Anyways, y'all, make sure you guys hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here today. If you guys like support, I still have the coffee magic gift going up. So if you guys would like to support over there, I appreciate it. We're almost to 50% there. I'd love to clear that out. So thank you so much. I also have super chats. I also have pay links in the bio. Ogden, thank you so much for that. I forgot to say that earlier. Ogden, thank you so much for that 25 over on PayPal. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Ogden. W's in the chat for Ogden for that 25. Yeah, all the pay links are in the bio. I'm going to keep harping. Go watch my podcast episode. First episode was out yesterday on all the platforms. And it should be in my link tree, too. You should be able to pull it from my link tree, too. So I really appreciate that. Appreciate that, y'all. I also have gifting and
insane
super chats over on the tubes. So I really appreciate that also. Misha, thank you so much for the coffee magic. Pamela, thank you so much for the sunshine. 77, thank you so much. Soros, thank you so much. Kula, thank you so much. Tiffany, thank you so much. Tracy, thank you so much. Jose, thank you so much. Me too, thank you. Your boy Chino and Dizzy, thank you. Tad, thank you so much for the $5. Said, hey, my point works if we use a definition from when they thought Zeus could lightning bolt a baby into a person. I'm gonna use that one of these days, man. I'm gonna use that one of these days. Yeah, guys, if we go back to the ancient Latin, like, bro, our language has evolved from then. It's okay. Like our language has evolved from there. Where it's okay. We can move on, you know? The Mighty, thank you so much. The $2 says, one about chimera and transplant recipients. Yeah, very good point. Yeah, their argument on the human life thing kind of falls apart pretty quick when they don't know what they're talking about. Dude was like 20. Like, bro, you're 20 years old. You probably never seen a woman outside your mama, dude. Stop. Godzilla, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. So a woman can't dictate a life of another, yet she literally has full control over. But a man can dictate a woman's life of another that he has no connection to or control over. Curious. Wow, what a really, really awesome point, Godzilla. Can we get W's in the chat for Godzilla for that really awesome point? That's really awesome. Yeah. Apparently, yeah, a woman can't decide what life is, but a man can tell a woman what life is. Makes sense, right? That's because that's logical. Thank you so much, Godzilla. Kula, thank you so much for all those coffees too. I appreciate it. Sean, thank you so much for the $10. I'm so sick of maggots yammering about the morality when the bat cadet bone spurs. I'm also sick of them yelling about their freedom while seeking to curtail freedoms of other. Like, shut the fuck up. Seriously. Yeah, for real, Sean. Like, just shut the fuck up. Seriously. Good point, Sean. Here's Godzilla again with the 22. I really appreciate that. It's a good point, Polly. I believe that a clump of cells forming to be a human life is a full human life. Then pregnant women should be able to claim them as dependents, gain social services, be treated as two people, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, if that's the claim they're going to make, and you always notice this too. Isn't it always like the red states, right? The ones that want to, that ban AB access, that want to, make all these rules, are the first ones to cut any services that pregnant women actually need? Isn't that crazy? The red states that are always that are the ones that are always trying to cut this access are always the first ones to cut programs for not only for pregnant women, right? And for actual like children in schools, like for like school lunches, school healthcare, SNAP benefits, all these things. It's always the same people. Like, you could at least like attempt to be consistent, you at least attempt to be consistent with it. But that shows you right there that they don't really give a shit about children, right? They don't actually care about children. They just care about controlling women. That's all it is. Godzilla, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Oh, I'm thirsty. Let's see if I can. Oh my goodness. This thing is so broken, dude. I don't know what is going on here. Let me do that. Let's do that. And then maybe I can do this over here. Let me do that. Oh my God. Ah!
I forgot I had issues on this device with looping the sound, so I gotta drop and go to the other device. My bad.
Bye. All right, we're gonna keep this thing going, y'all. I really appreciate the support. Thank you guys so much. Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
27.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
I do.
Awesome. Why is that?
Because of his border policies and what he's doing in the Iran war.
All right. What's he doing in the Iran war that benefits you?
He's taking down a hostile power that before the Iran war was a threshold nuclear state.
They were a threshold nuclear state. What the fuck do you mean by a threshold nuclear state?
Well, that's the term.
Sure. Describe. Tell me the term then.
A country that's close to nuclear weapons.
Gotcha. So they were close to nuclear weapons and not trying to get one and willing to give them all up and without a war, but we needed to go to war to do that?
we did have to go to war to do that because we're in the negotiations that are happening right now. They're not willing to give them up.
Yes, they are.
Why haven't they then?
Because they haven't gotten an offer good enough to give them up.
All we want is the Strait of Hormuz opened and for them to stop their human cruelties and give up their nuclear
yeah, and what are they getting out of it?
Nuclear weapons. What?
And what are they getting out of that?
They're not getting anything out of it. Their country.
Gotcha. So you want them to give everything and yeah. So gotcha. So you want them to give up everything and them to give nothing, and you can't figure out why they're not agreeing.
So you want Iran to have nuclear weapons?
I didn't say anything about me wanting to have Iran have a nuclear weapon. Why are you trying to change the subject? You said, then why aren't they giving up all their nuclear material? And I'm telling you, it's because we're not offering them anything. Why would they give up anything if we're not offering them anything?
The only thing we could offer them would help them, and we don't want to do that.
Okay, gotcha. So then what makes you think they're going to give up anything?
Well, once the ceasefire's over, then we're going to start attacking them again.
So what?
Then it's either do what we want, give us what we want, or we're gonna go back to war.
Who cares? Why do they care about that?
What do they care about? What, going to war?
Yeah. Why do they care?
Because it hurts them.
How?
Well, I mean, we already took down most of their navy.
How? So what? And they're still not. And we took down most of their navy. All right. And they're still not freaking. They're still not ready to give us everything we want. So how far do we have to go to get everything we want?
If we go back to war and they keep throwing their military at it, eventually there's going to be nothing left, and then it's over. We can just take it. We can just take away their nuclear capabilities.
Oh, gotcha. So what you're saying is we would have to wait until they completely ran out and could no longer attack, and then send ground troops in to completely wipe out their entire ground force, and also then go in and take their nuclear weapons. So what you're about to say is that we're about to be at war with Iran for the next 2 to 5 years minimum?
Not really. I mean, it didn't take us that long to cripple their military.
If we crippled their military, then why were we just attacking them like 2 days ago to take out their military assets because they were a threat?
If it's a threat, we need to take it out.
If it's a threat, then we haven't crippled their military, is it?
We took out a majority of their boats.
Sir, you can't have it both ways. Either we crippled their military, so there is no threat, okay? Because if we crippled,
we find that we're going to get rid of it.
I'm sorry?
You said if we crippled the military, then why did we just attack them? We found a threat, we got rid of it.
How can there be a threat if they're crippled?
It was one fucking thing. What did you say?
It's happened 3 times over the last week and a half.
Okay, what did they bomb?
Fucking some sites that Iran's military was using to attack them.
Okay.
They were literally just hitting freaking spots in Kuwait, like in I think in Qatar, just like a few days ago. They were just hitting. They were using their military weapons to hit sites in Kuwait.
We'll hit you too.
Yeah, gotcha. So their military's not crippled.
They're trying to fight, but I mean, you could still fight with a shit military.
Oh, gotcha. So it's not crippled.
I'd call it crippled. I mean, they tried to attack us and we wiped out their military bases. I'd call that crippled.
Gotcha. They are completely wiped out. They are completely wiped out, but also still attacking U.S. interests. What are you talking about, dude? That doesn't even make any sense, bro. So let me explain to you what's actually. So let me actually explain to you what's actually happening. Okay, since you obviously don't have a clue. Okay. So, because you like, honestly, if you believe what you just said, you have no idea what you're talking about, because you can't have a military that's wiped out and then that same military is also attacking your targets. That's impossible to have. If the military is wiped out, that means they no longer have the ability to be the aggressor. You have said that. You've said it multiple times that their military is crippled and their military is wiped out. You've said that multiple times. So please let me inform you now. Okay? Okay, Iran is more than capable of waiting this thing out for a long time. Okay. The point of Iran right now, they are not trying to beat the U.S. survive. Okay, that's all they have to do is survive. And they can survive an air campaign because they have lots and lots and lots and lots of mountains to hide all their troops in, to hide their weapons in, to hide nuclear material in, to build, drones, to do all of those things, where an air campaign simply cannot hit. No matter how many times we send planes over there, we'll hit some targets and we'll do some destruction for sure. That's not a question, right? But we're not going to destroy them, and they know this. They know that they can just wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. And the president, who literally just said that he's bored with this war, okay, he's bored with it. That's what the president of the United States said. And Iran hears this stuff, right? So Iran hears the president say, I'm bored with this war and it's getting in the way of my other projects. And so they're just hanging out, right? Now, granted, they were already in negotiations before this war started. Let's start with the fact that Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, said last March, before we even bombed them in June, that they were not trying to make a nuclear weapon. And then last June, Donald Trump said,
the nuclear facilities for that we destroyed.
Can you let me finish my statement before you ask questions about it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Do you know who the director of national intelligence is?
Tulsi Gabbard.
No, do you know what their job is?
To run the U.S. intelligence agency.
The entire apparatus of the largest intelligence agency on the planet. So when the head of the largest intelligence apparatus on the face of the planet says Iran is not trying to build a nuclear weapon, why are you up here going, well, then why were they doing this? Do you know more than the head of the largest intelligence apparatus on the planet?
I didn't say that they were building them.
Then let me finish.
They had the resources. Okay.
Thank you. All right. The director of national intelligence said they were not trying to build a nuclear weapon. That was in March of last year. Then in June of last year, okay, Donald Trump said that their entire nuclear weapons program was obliterated and they were decades away from creating a nuclear weapon. Then just a few months ago, the director of the Anti-Terrorism Center for the United States, Joe Kent, who is a Trump supporter and appointed by Trump, said that there was no evidence whatsoever that Iran was trying to build a nuclear weapon, and that the only reason that we went to war was because Israel talked us into it, and they posed no imminent threat to the United States or any of their allies. That is what Joe Kent, again, the director of the Anti-Terrorism Center for the United States that was appointed by Trump, said literally a few months ago. Okay, so if all of those people who are in charge of major intelligence apparatuses of the United States under the Trump administration are saying that they were not trying to build a nuclear weapon and that we did not go to war, okay, because of a nuclear weapon, and the only reason we went to war was because Bibi Netanyahu talked Trump into it, then how can you sit up here and tell me that it was because of nuclear weapons?
It's not just for one reason. It benefits us in multiple ways.
Okay, which other ways? Because here's what we have right now. We have Donald Trump negotiating with the exact same people that have been funding terrorist groups for the last 4 decades, right? The exact same people, the Ayatollah, the IRGC, the exact same people that have been funding, groups like Hezbollah and other, extremist groups in the Middle East. That's the people that we're negotiating with right now. We already have proof that the Trump administration is offering them $300 billion on top of sanctions relief to continue doing that. The same people that were committing atrocities against their own citizens, that were gunning down American citizens for protesting, that's the IRGC. Those are the exact same people. Those are the exact same people that the Trump administration is negotiating with right now. So if it wasn't for nuclear weapons, if the same regime is still in power, then what is the point that we're getting out of this besides higher gas prices, higher fertilizer prices, higher natural gas prices? Where are we getting? What are we getting?
Where'd you get the information that we were going to give them $300 million to keep funding terrorist groups in the Middle East?
Luckily, from 2 guests ago, I still have it on the screen. That's beautiful. U.S.-Iran nuclear deal could unlock $300 billion from Iran, for Tehran, report said. On the nuclear, Iran would agree to not develop nuclear weapons. By both sides would later decide the fate of Iran's nuclear stockpile and enrichment activities in the final deal. And there's a bunch of, I can pull up 20 different sources that all say this.
Okay, that still doesn't show me where you got that he was going to give Iran $300 billion to fund terrorist groups.
What do you think they're going to do with the money?
Okay, well,
they're the largest. They're the largest. They're the largest. Sir,
what website is it?
Sir, they are the largest state funder. Okay, they are the largest state funder of terrorist groups on the planet. What else do you think they're going to do with $300 billion, okay, and a depleted military?
Well, that's in the negotiations. That's what we're trying to stop, because if we stop Iran from funding terrorist groups that attack Israel, eventually we won't have to funnel $3 billion into defense in Israel, which benefits us because then we get to keep that money. So yes, taking down
Gotcha.
Iran and will benefit us. Yes,
And if
in
we
other
give them
ways than
$300
just taking
billion,
away their
how
nuclear
can we
program.
stop them from funding terrorist groups?
The negotiations are for sanction release.
And how can we
taking away their
prove
nuclear
that?
program.
And how can we enforce that?
Well, we can enforce that because we'll know if they're still funding the terrorist groups, because the only reason that the groups in Gaza and Lebanon and Oman not Oman, I don't remember, but Gaza and Lebanon are able to keep attacking Israel is because they have funding from Iran.
That's not
That
true.
doesn't answer my hold on. That doesn't answer my question. How do we enforce that $300 billion not going to
You
terrorist
didn't let me
groups?
finish.
Sir, I'm waiting for your answer. You're just saying, "Oh, they've
I
been
was
funding
getting
it."
to
Okay,
that.
how do we enforce it?
If we're gonna know if they're still funneling money into terrorist groups to attack Israel, and if they are, then the sanctions are gonna go right back on.
Cool. So the sanctions will go right
You
back
just
on.
said we have the
Gotcha.
You just said we have the largest intelligence apparatus, so I think we're gonna know if they're still funding terrorist groups. So if they keep funding the terrorist groups, then the sanctions are gonna go right back on. So
Gotcha.
the $300 billion is not gonna go to terrorist groups to
Gotcha.
attack Iran, at least. I mean,
Gotcha.
not Iran, Israel.
Hold on, sir. So gotcha. So what you're saying is, okay. So what you're saying is, if Iran uses a 300 billion, because it's 300 billion plus sanction relief, not 300 billion in sanction relief, 300 billion plus sanction relief, right? So if they start using that money to fund Iran or to fund terrorist groups, if Iran uses that money to start funding terrorist groups, then now we are in exactly the same position that we were in prior to the war, and we got nothing out of it. The only difference is that they lost some of their military, and now they have $300 billion.
Okay. That'll hurt them too. They don't want sanctions. Don't
So
fund
this war did
military. Don't fund
absolutely
terrorist
fucking
groups.
nothing. So this war did absolutely nothing. So either A,
Yes,
okay. So
we're trying to save money by
we got higher gas prices, higher grocery prices, lost $300 billion in American taxpayer money. On top of that is going to go fund terrorists now, and we got nothing to show for it of a war that costs $1 billion a day.
We're trying to take away their nuclear program and help Israel by taking down the terrorist groups that are attacking them, like
Gotcha.
Palestine.
We
Gaza,
already discussed the nuclear program. That's a moot point. Okay, because they weren't trying to build a nuclear weapon. They weren't trying to do it.
They were not making nuclear weapons. You are correct. They weren't trying to make them, but they had the ability, and that is a bargaining chip. If you have the ability to make nuclear weapons, that's a bargaining chip, and we don't want them to have.
You are 100% correct.
Enriched uranium.
You are 100% correct. Hold on. I want to stop there because you're correct. You're correct, sir.
Uranium.
You're correct, sir. So stand by. You're correct. Dude, if you are so close to just hitting the nail on top of the head, and you're just missing it. And I don't know how. Okay? I truly don't know how. You are 100% correct, sir. Okay? If you have the ability to start building nuclear weapons at any point in time, that is a bargaining chip. Okay? And if you can use that bargaining chip to get release of sanctions, then you will use that. That's how Barack Obama got the Iran nuclear deal. By using that money, okay, by using that threat of nuclear weapons, say, hey, we're going to take away that threat of nuclear weapons, but you're going to release sanctions. So Donald Trump, without this war happening, okay, could have used their bargaining chip to take away the threat of nuclear weapons, release sanctions, which is what he's doing after this war anyway, and he could have done that without ever going to war and chose not to. Okay? We are getting nothing out of this war, okay?
The only reason that war started is because Israel started attacking
the only
military
reason
bases.
this war started is because Donald Trump pulled us out of the JCPOA in his first term. That's the only reason this war started.
Yes, he should have.
Gotcha, sir. I get it, sir. Sir, stop talking. Stop. Yeah, it didn't do shit, except for Donald Trump is literally creating a worse version of the JCPOA right now. It didn't
What, you
do
talking
shit.
about
But
the Peace
literally,
Council?
Donald Trump is creating a worse version of the JCPOA right now because he's giving them more money. Okay. He's releasing more sanctions. Okay. In exchange for them giving up their nuclear material at a later date, not even right now. Okay. And had to go to war to do it. Oh, and got the
Well, we
Strait of
didn't have to
Hormuz
go to
shut
war.
down in there,
Iran went to war.
and got the Strait of Hormuz shut down in the process.
Okay, well, we didn't want to go to war. The only reason we went to war is because Iran started attacking military bases when we annihilated their nuclear facilities.
Gotcha. So the only reason we went to
We had
war
to
is
not- we
because
had to take down their nuclear
gotcha.
facilities
So the only reason that we went to war is because Iran retaliated on us going to war. That's literally what you just said. That's literally what you just said.
It's not even
You
a war.
literally
So
said
there's
you literally said the only reason we went to war. The only reason we went to war is because Iran started attacking us after we attacked them. That's literally what you just said.
Yeah, they
So we
have,
started the
yes,
war.
We attacked their
So
nuclear
we
facilities
started
and
the
they
war.
retaliated. They shouldn't have the ability
So
to
we
create
started
nuclear
the
weapons.
war. So we started
you
the
okay?
war. So we started the war.
Yes, we're the reason
So
they
we
retaliated.
started the
but we
war.
didn't want
Thank
war.
you. So we started the war. So we started a war, okay, in order to get worse deal than the JCPOA while also spending $1 billion a day on the war and getting the Strait of Hormuz shut down.
Okay.
Can you please explain to me
So we were
one
only in
part
the
of the deal?
JCPOA for like a year or two, so it doesn't. To get a stockpile like that and the time they did, they were doing shit while we were in the JCPOA. So
9
that JCPOA
years?
that you love so much is bullshit.
9 years? What year did Donald Trump pull us out of the JCPOA?
His first term.
What year?
I think it was like 2017 or 2018.
Gotcha. So you don't understand how you can build up an enrichment stockpile in 9 years? 8 years?
I'm saying that they were still doing it while they were in the JCPOA.
Sir. We already have the IAEA data that shows that they weren't. And we already have the IAEA data from after we left showing that they started, showing that they started to highly enrich after we left. They were not trying to highly enrich until after Donald Trump pulled us out of the JCPOA. They weren't doing it before. They didn't start till after. The IAEA data already shows that. Okay? We had a deal where they were not creating nuclear weapons. I agree so much, sir. I agree that I do not want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. Now, granted, they're a signatory on the NPT, right? They have the right to have nuclear weapon for an energy source because they're a signatory on that, and they've been a signatory on it since the 80s, right? Since that thing was signed, right? So they have the right to create nuclear, to have nuclear energy, right? They have that right, all right? And they're not going to give that up. I just thought I'd let you know. All right. Obama was able to get a deal where they didn't have a nuclear weapon. And yeah, it required us releasing some sanctions on them. Yep. And do I want them to have money to be able to fund terrorism? Absolutely not. No, I don't want that. Okay. I don't want that at all. Okay. But Donald Trump's not getting anything better out of this. Okay. Because it is impossible to enforce them not funding terrorist groups. Okay. Unless you say we are going to go back to war if you continue funding terrorist groups. And if that's what happens, okay, then there's no point of us ever stopping the war. All right. So it doesn't matter. Okay. He's not getting anything better out of this than what he already took us out of, except for now, we've lost American troops. We've lost American planes. We've lost billions of dollars. Right. And continue to lose billions of dollars every single day. We've committed atrocities against children in schools. Right. All because Donald Trump pulled us out of a deal that Obama didn't like. If Donald Trump didn't like the deal that we were in. OK, and Donald Trump had the ability to actually, be a diplomat, which is supposed to be part of his job. Right. He's supposed to be able to practice diplomacy. If he had the ability to do that. All right. He could have said, hey, this is the deal we're in. And I would like to make that deal more robust, right? I would like to extend it. I would like to, create better terms for the deal, and left us in the deal while Iran wasn't building a nuclear weapon and negotiated a better deal. He could have done that. That was totally within his realm if he
He
wanted
could
to
have
try
done
to
that,
do
but
that.
that wouldn't have got rid of their critical nuclear facilities.
Then
They're
why?
critical nuclear facilities that they weren't using to create anything above a 3% enrichment. Why did we need to get rid of facilities if they weren't enriching anything past 3%, sir?
Okay, so when Trump pulled us out of the JCPOA, there's no way of knowing that they weren't enriching uranium
Oh my God.
past 3%, because in actuality, in the JCPOA, there's not anywhere anytime inspections. Actually, the Iranians get to choose which facilities we inspect, and that deal expired in 15 years, so it didn't do shit. So
Not 10 years,
so even if
actually.
Trump did pull us out, they could have still been enriching uranium that we didn't know about over 3%, and it would have expired in 15 years. So that
Do you have
JCPOA
do you have
treaty didn't
any
do
evidence
shit.
that they were doing it?
Yeah, well, they have it now, so it doesn't
No,
just
no.
take
Do
some
you
fucking
have
top
any
experts to do
evidence?
that.
Do you
They
have
have to
any
figure out how
evidence,
to
sir?
do
No,
it,
no,
and
no.
then
That's
they
not what
enrich
I'm at. Hey,
stockpile.
pay attention. Do you have any evidence that while we were in the JCPOA that they were enriching uranium past 3%?
I can tell you it doesn't just take 9 years to figure out how to do
Sir,
that.
do you
So
have
yes,
any evidence that while
that's
we
my
were in the
evidence right
JC,
there. That it doesn't just
so the
take
answer is
9
no. The
years
answer is
to learn
no.
how to do
The
it.
answer is no. You have zero evidence that it was happening. Sir, are you a nuclear scientist?
Are you a nuclear scientist?
Absolutely not. Are you a nuclear scientist?
No.
Okay, then why are you making a positive claim saying that 9 years isn't enough to learn how to enrich uranium when they were already enriching uranium?
Because it doesn't just take 9 years. Why would they need a stockpile of that size unless they were going to use it?
They didn't
Unless they
have a
were, why would they
stockpile
need
of
a
that size,
stockpile of
sir.
that size
Sir,
to unless they
this
were
is
going
getting
to
this is
have it
getting
so they
ridiculous, sir.
could
This
have
is
the
getting
ability to
ridiculous,
create a
sir.
nuclear
Your
weapon?
entire stance is that you, who is not educated in this whatsoever, has decided that it doesn't make sense. Okay? The IAEA, who are the experts in this, said it wasn't happening. Okay? Our intelligence, the largest intelligence apparatus on the planet, said it wasn't happening. Okay? They said before we pulled out of the JCPOA that they were not enriching. So the IAEA said it, and our own intelligence said it, right? Plus the intelligence of 50 other countries all said they weren't doing it. Okay? Nuclear scientists said it wasn't happening, right? Inspectors said that. Spies said that. Signal intelligence said that. All right? Every single thing agreed saying that they weren't enriching past 3%. Okay? Every single thing said it. And you have just made up in your mind that it's not true. And you have no evidence. Zero. You have zero evidence that it wasn't true. Okay? The truth of the matter is that they were not enriching uranium past 3%. Okay? They weren't. The best deal that Donald Trump is going to get out of all of this is that they go right back to not enriching uranium past 3%. That's the best he's getting. Okay? They're not giving up their nuclear power. They're an NPT signatory. They're not doing it. Okay? They don't have to, and they're not going to. Okay?
And the percentage that they're at right now
Okay,
at
the
60% is
JCPOA
Sir, be quiet.
did not
Sir, be
didn't
quiet.
restrict Iran
Sir, be
enough to
quiet.
know for a fact that they were not enriching
Oh my God, you're about to
uranium
get
or
muted. Be
developing the
quiet.
capabilities to make nuclear weapons.
he doesn't
Do you
listen.
not hear her talking?
Hello,
I
hello.
couldn't understand it. I could barely understand what she's saying.
Well, that's because you were talking
Oh.
while she was doing it. Be quiet.
60% enriched uranium, which is the max that they've been at, is usable for experimental medical programs, which they've said that that's what they're using it for. And if Donald Trump was such a great negotiator when he pulled out of the deal, well, technically ended the deal on the United States side on May 8, 2018 by re-implementing the sanctions, he had 2.5 years to come up with a new deal. So from May 8, 2018 through January 19th, 2021, and he absolutely failed to come up with any modicum of a deal, any framework of a deal, or even any negotiation talks with Iran because he directly violated the JCPOA that they had already agreed to, and it took them 3 years to even get to 6% enrichment levels. So he's such a great negotiator, but couldn't make it while he was still president.
He took us out of the JCPOA treaty because he wanted to put more pressure on Iran to get us in a better deal, which is what we're doing.
Then he could have renegotiated it while we still had it, and they had a cap on their 3.67% enrichment levels. Re-implementing sanctions made no sense. We were the number one backer of the JCPOA by the fact that if sanctions being implemented on Iran means that they can't do business with any other country in US currency, and because our USD is the number one on the global market, that limited who they could do business with, how they could do business, because when we have sanctions on another country, they can't utilize our banks. They can't utilize any bank that accepts USD because they are sanctioned. And so it literally cripples their economy. And that's why they, well, didn't obviously cripple it because they're still doing just fine. When that happens and we've done that, we've hurt them, why on earth would they then be willing to negotiate us when we've already dealt them a blow, violated a deal that was previously signed and ratified by the United Nations with 193 countries signing on to the ratification? Why would they trust us?
They don't need to trust us. They need to do what we say. That's what they need to do. They need to give up their enriched uranium.
We should have done that in 1942. I'm just saying, the United States should have done that in 1942. We should have just We should have just gave up when Japan bombed Pearl Harbor. We should have just, sorry, 1941. We should have just gave up to Japan when they bombed Pearl Harbor. Like, that's how that should have been.
No.
The audacity, and like really it's crazy. The audacity of Americans to think that if we just start bombing someone that they're just going to do whatever we want them to do.
If you hurt a country enough, you just take away any of their other options. So.
Well, sir, then if they don't have any other options, then why are they still, every time Donald Trump sends a negotiator, Iran is telling them to shove it up their ass? If they have no other options, sir, if they have no other options, then how the hell are they giving another option, sir? It's because they have options. Okay, they have tons of options. Okay, they have a bunch of options. This is what you call a war of attrition, sir. Do you know what that means?
No.
Okay, a war of attrition means that one country is not going to be able to take out another country, right? In any meaningful fashion. So what both countries are trying to do is make it as painful on the other country as possible. Okay, and that's what we're doing. The United States is trying to make it painful on them by bombing their sites, bombing their putting blockades around the Strait of Hormuz and around their oil stuff, stopping oil from leaving. And they're doing the same thing to us by attacking our interests in Kuwait, our interests in Saudi, our interest in all of the Gulf countries, right? They're attacking our interests, and they're making at the same point Americans, gas prices go up, making the oil prices go up, making grocery prices go up through all of that, increasing the cost of fertilizer and natural gas. I mean, like literally, we were getting Ari and I actually went to go get an oil change today, and they were like, yeah, we just had to like incredibly raise our prices on oil. Like this a significant amount. So what they're doing is they're hurting us, okay? And it's a matter of who outlasts who. And I'll tell you who's going to outlast who, because one country seems to be pretty cool with continuing this on for a while, and the other country's leader and president is saying that they're bored with the war and ready to move on. So who do you think is outlasting who?
I mean, they can outlast us, but if they want to try to outlast us in the war, then their country's going to go to shit. Right now, their economy's shit. Their currency means nothing, and they are heavily reliant on two countries for trade. They can't get anything out of the only imports and exports channel that they have, Strait of Hormuz. So their economy's shit. And if they don't agree to the negotiations, the ceasefire. If they don't agree with our negotiations, the ceasefire, it's over. So once the negotiations are over, we're going to start attacking them. Their economy's shit. We're just going to keep attacking their military, and then they have nothing. Without an economy and the ability to get food and water, and oil and actual, money from China and Russia, then they can outlast us, but their country's going to be shit.
What
then
is
it's
different
not even
between
gonna be worth
that,
it anymore.
besides the military being destroyed? What's the difference between now and before the war?
Oh, good question.
That they don't, that they stopped enriching uranium.
No.
Of
all the things
since
you
the war
said
started.
on why they can't outlast us, you said because their economy was shit. That was happening before the war. That their dollar wasn't worth shit. That was happening before the war. That they were completely reliant on two countries. That was happening before the war, right? All of those things that you said, all of those things that you said, all of those things that you said existed before the war. Okay? All of them existed before the war. All right. The only difference that you have is that they are going to start bombing stuff, which again, I've already explained to you, sir, that they can hide really, really well. And so what you're suggesting is going to require a full ground invasion from the United States and Israel, which would cost us trillions of dollars, trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. Right.
But it benefits us.
You still haven't
It's benefiting us right now.
You still have not shown how.
We just got a $500 million deal with Venezuelan oil because
that goes to oil companies. That goes to
going
oil
back
companies.
Into Venezuela.
No, it's even worse than that.
Venezuela
It's even
has the
worse.
biggest
It's
oil
even worse
reserves
than that,
in the
Ari.
world,
It's even worse than that,
with
Ari.
20% of the world's oil
Yeah.
not being
It doesn't
able to
even
be
go to
exported,
U.S. oil
people are
companies.
going to get
It went
dollars
all
and
back
go
to
buy
Venezuela.
Venezuelan oil.
It went
Yeah,
all back to Venezuela. All of that 500 million that he's talking to. So how does that benefit us? How does Venezuela having more money benefit us?
How it benefited us.
How?
It researched the dominance of the U.S. dollar, because with 20% of the world's oil not being able to be exported,
and how's the U.S. dollar doing in comparison to when Donald Trump took office?
Controlling Venezuela.
How does the U.S. dollar doing?
Oil reserves.
How is the U.S. dollar doing in comparison to when Donald Trump took office?
Okay, the U.S. dollar is weaker, but it has more dominance now because people are
what podcast are you guys hearing this on? It's fucking hilarious. I don't know what podcast you guys are hearing. This is the second time this dumb shit I fucking heard. This is the second time in about a week that I've heard which it's the dumbest argument I've ever heard. And I don't know what podcast you guys are listening to, but you guys need to stop. You guys need to turn it off. Okay, this whole shit about like, oh well. The dollar's lost fucking 20%, but it has more dominance. That's not even real. Okay? That's not even real. And if you actually think about it for like 2 seconds, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Okay? It makes zero sense. This entire dominance argument, okay, is making no sense. You know what the dollar is losing out to? The Chinese, was it the yuan or the yen? I can't remember which one it is.
Yuan. It's the yuan.
It's the yuan. There you go. It's the yuan. That's what we're losing out to. Okay, it has nothing to do with Iran. That has nothing to do with Venezuela and what's really the problem? It comes from Africa and South America, which this isn't affecting at all. Okay, and from Argentina, from Chile, from all of these different places. It is a ridiculously bad argument to say that somehow because we shut off oil from Venezuela, which had nothing to do with any of this shit you guys are talking about. The only reason we shut off Venezuela was to try to cut off Cuba. It's the only reason, okay? It's the only reason. This entire like playing 4D chess shit to make dominance with the dollar, it's all horse shit, okay? It doesn't mean a damn thing. It is literally all to cut off Cuba, which again, the atrocities that we're committing in Cuba because of it is fucking pathetic. It's really, really bad. Okay. Literally children are dying. Okay. Sick people are dying in Cuba right now because of what we did in Venezuela. All right. And that's the only reason we did it. All right.
It's simple. You want help? Don't be communist.
Don't be communist. Guys, the children communists deserve to fucking die. Guys, the children communists, the children communists deserve to fucking die because they just shouldn't have been fucking communists. You fucking shut the fuck up. Dude, shut the fuck up. I'm muting this idiot. Shut the fuck up, dude.
He must not have watched Nick Shirley's video where Nick Shirley went to Cuba and interviewed them, and he had about 3 different people say, our government's not communist because communism doesn't exist here. It was in the subtitles for those that don't even speak a lick of Spanish. Like even Nick Shirley debunked himself on the fact that Cuba is communist. Because it's not. You guys just hear this like red, like I didn't know when we went back to the Red Scare.
I don't know,
right?
dude. I don't know when 20-something year olds started worrying about the Red Scare. If they wanted to be communists, first of all, who gives a shit? Who cares? What does that have to do with us? But the fact that you're saying children should die because of it is crazy.
No, that's what you said.
No, that's what you said. I
didn't say
said
that.
children are dying in Cuba right now, and you said, well, then they shouldn't have been communist. That's the words you said. I said children are dying, and you said, well, they shouldn't have been communist. That's what you just said, dude. Are you kidding me?
Human rights violations.
The children do.
They imprison people.
The children do.
So does the United States.
The children do. Who just bombed a school and killed 170 school children? Was that Cuba? Was that Cuba that did that, sir?
Of the Cuban government.
Was that that was a direct result? No, that was the United States, sir. That was the United States that sent that was the United States who sent Tomahawk missiles into schools in Iran. That was the U.S.
He didn't even know what you were talking about. Like,
no, he doesn't know what I'm talking about.
Does he not realize that targeting civilian infrastructure like schools or hospitals or universities is an actual war crime and against the United Nations and the Geneva Conventions? And that's exactly what the United States has done more than once, multiple times.
He doesn't even know what. Here, I'll give him one chance here. I'm going to give you one chance, sir. Can you define communism?
No, I can't define communism.
Then how do you know Cuba is communist if you can't define it?
That's all. The rest of the world believes they're communist, so I would assume it's true. They say they're communist. So the government says they're communist. What the people don't? The government says they're communist.
North Korea says they're the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Are they democratic? Do you think North Korea is democratic because they call themselves that?
They're communist. You just contradicted yourself. You know that,
does
right?
North Korea call themselves?
North Korea doesn't call themselves communist. They're not communist.
You're right. You just said that Cuba is communist because they called themselves communist. That's what you just said.
We call them communists because what they are.
You just said that Cuba is communist because he doesn't even know the words that he's saying. He doesn't know what they're saying. First of all, North Korea isn't communist either. They're totalitarian. Okay, which is not communism. All right,
they're a communist dictatorship.
No, they're a totalitarian dictatorship.
Yeah, he doesn't know, like, and that's the whole point, right? Yes.
So what you're
does the leading party in Cuba call themselves communists? Yes. Are they practicing communism? No, they are practicing capitalism, and so therefore they can't be communist. He doesn't understand that.
To the Cuban government,
sir, Pookie.
You agree with that?
Pookie.
No one can hear you, sir, because you keep talking while everybody else is talking.
No, you're talking over me.
No. You're talking over her.
No,
I'm not asking your opinion, sir. I'm sorry. I don't know if you part of that was like, maybe I'm asking your opinion on who was talking over who. I wasn't asking your opinion. Okay. I'm informing you. I'm letting you know what's going on. Okay. So be quiet and listen. All right. What are you saying?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, just because a party calls itself communism, as long as it is actively practicing in capitalism, which Cuba has been on the world market practicing capitalism, and therefore cannot be communism. That's just a simple, like, baseline that we can state. Yes, are they practicing levels of socialism within their country? Yes, and so is the United States of America. The public roads that you drive on, that's practicing socialism because it's the cumulative amount of money that is collected from tax-paying American citizens that is being utilized, built, pushed out into the community for everyone's free access to utilize, right? Like, so if by that metric that they are practicing socialist behaviors within Cuba, that therefore they are communist, then I don't know about you, but I would also say that by your own logic, if we follow that to its conclusion, so is the United States.
We literally have social security.
So what you're saying is you fully support the Cuban government's human rights violations. You think
wow, that is the literally. Sir, I don't know if you could have said a dumber fucking thing in my entire fucking life. She just explained to you how countries can experience socialism, okay, and still be freaking totalitarian. And you're like, so you support Cuba? Nobody said we supported Cuba. Did you hear us say those words, sir? Because if you're hearing us say those words, I think you need to get checked out by your nearest shrink, okay? Because you have voices in your head and they're talking to you. Okay, we never said that we supported Cuba. We never said that we supported any government. Okay, that is just a super bad faith argument because you don't understand what's going on. All right.
Okay,
Like
well, what I'm saying
I said earlier.
Cuba
No.
deserves everything that's happened in
Shh. Shh. I said, okay, that the government was totalitarian. Do you know what totalitarianism is?
to an extent. I couldn't explain it to you. I understand it, but I couldn't explain it.
Can you give me just your both just like the most, you know, the easiest way you know how to explain it? I don't need you to be dictionary good, okay?
Okay, the government. There's one person on top that controls everything.
Well, it's the government. That's a dictatorship, is what you just described. Okay, one person on top that controls everything is a dictatorship or a monarchy, right? That's usually how that works. Okay, depending on whether it's a king or not, right? A totalitarian is a government that seeks absolute control, right? Like unmitigated control over the entire public and private lives of their citizens. Okay, usually with one ruling, like, you know, person or persons. Okay, but doesn't allow any opposition and controls everything about their citizens. All right, like that's what North Korea is. All right. What you're saying is because communism would say that there's what it is. Communism is supposed to be a public ownership of everything, right? If you actually go to the strict definition of communism, it's not like a Marxist communism. It's a moneyless, classless, stateless society, right? But if you go into like a Marxist style of communism, right? It's where you have like where your electricity and everything is owned by the government, controlled by the government, right? And that thing is things are just pushed out that way. But that's not what's happening. In places like North Korea, nothing is pushed out. All of their people are just dirt poor, right? There's not any money that's being cycled through. Everybody's just poor. Everybody's living weak, except for the members of the controlling party and like their friends. That's all. That is not communism at work. That is totalitarianism at work. All right. Where Cuba, like you said, is a dictatorship, right? That's also not communism, right? Communism, and like Ari completely described, right? They work in a capitalistic society just with a dictatorship, right? So there is this whole idea, and that's why she brought up. Do you know what the Red Scare is, sir?
No, I don't.
Okay, so that's really important because she said, I don't know why we're going back to this Red Scare, right? Because what was it, like the 60s, Ari, that we went through that?
I mean, technically, the Red Scare was throughout the entire Cold War.
That's true, right? So very prominent in the 60s, but throughout the Cold War, where literally the United States just kept calling everybody communist and then saying for some reason that we have the ability to attack them or whatever, due to them being communist, as if we like somehow have the reason to say that because a country, like wants to run their country differently than ours, that somehow we have the right to attack them. If another country decides they want to be communist, who are we? Why are we the world's police on making everybody capitalist? Why is it necessary for the United States to intervene on every country that doesn't want to be capitalist? Why is that our job?
Because communist doesn't work in every instance across history. Communism results in corruption.
Sir,
no, communism was never implemented. Sorry.
True communist is it, but we're in capitalism. And we're in capitalism, and the U.S. president is literally suing the U.S. government and settling with himself to put money in his own pocket.
True, and also exempt from any tax audits, which is going to save them billions of dollars. And if you actually read the text of it, it's a forever exemption with no end date, meaning that his 3 times removed great-grandchildren, as long as they carry the Trump name, will also be exempt from any fucking tax audits. Same for any company that ever becomes a subsidiary or a franchisee of the Trump name, because it is trademarked. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous and probably one of the biggest corruptions in a full presidency that we've seen in the longest time. Like, hell no, bro. Oh my God, cry harder, bitch.
Donald Trump literally has quadrupled his net worth since becoming president. Quadruple. And you're saying that we need to go, hold on, sir. And you're saying we need to go intervene in other countries because communism brings corruption. Sir, we got corruption right here. The corruption's
y'all
right
are talking
here.
about shit things that that presidents have done by using their power to benefit themselves. You know, Biden did a blanket pardon on his entire family, right?
And he shouldn't have done that.
Talking about
And he
Trump
shouldn't have
shit.
done that.
Sir,
And he shouldn't
sir,
have done that. But that's
that
not
proves,
comparable.
That proves my point. If you're saying that something that Biden did was corrupt, then I am again saying, sir, then why do I need to go to Cuba to stop them from being corrupt in their communism if we have all the corruption right here in capitalism? You're making it sound like you're making it sound, sir, listen, stop talking and listen. You are making it sound like the only governments that have corruption are communist governments when we live in a capitalist government and we're experiencing the same, if not worse, corruption.
Okay, well, Cuba. Okay, so Cuba is openly communist. The Cuban government says that they're communist. So okay, let's go from there. And through their communist government,
he literally just ignored everything.
Don't interrupt me. Through the corruption
it's not your lie.
the direct result of their
I'll interrupt you all I want. You're not listening to anything I'm talking about. I was talking about U.S. corruption, not about Cuba.
Yeah,
I just talked about U.S. corruption. Talk about the U.S. corruption. Explain to me. Explain to me.
Corruption in the USA.
Explain to
me
why we should be
there's not
the
as much
world
human rights violations
police.
as there are in communist countries.
There are human rights violations in the United States right now, you dumbass.
Are you fucking kidding me? We have a literal detention
Immigration.
center. We have a literal detention center in New Jersey right now where people don't have fucking food, potable water, are not being given medical care, right? Like literally we are committing with they're being housed without due process, right? In unlivable conditions right now. That is a human rights violation that is happening in New Jersey right now at the hands of the US government.
I don't believe in that. But
just because you don't believe in something, does that make it untrue? Just because you don't believe in something, does it make it untrue? Just because you don't believe in something, does it make it untrue?
I'm agreeing with you that those human rights violations should not be happening. But
so how about we deal with the human rights violations here before
if they're illegal immigrants here, they deserve human rights, but they don't deserve due process. The Constitution only applies and should only apply to legal U.S. citizens. God.
Sure, stop. No. Ari, don't take the bait. No.
They should go directly to those detention centers.
Why do we need to go interfere with Cuba if they're committing human rights violations, if we're doing that here? That was my question.
Waiting.
All right, so even if we are committing human rights violations, it's not just this open thing that we can't do anything about. We have an extremely free country, but in Cuba, nobody can do anything about it.
Free to do human rights violations?
But it's okay. we're free to do it because we're America. Hey, hey, caller, can I ask you a quick question?
What?
Is the United States the world police?
Yes, and we should be.
Oh, who made us the world police? Who gave us that title?
We gave ourselves
that title. So if wait. So if we give ourselves the title, does that make it true? We can act upon it, right? If we give ourselves that title, hold on. If we give ourselves the title of being the world police, can we act upon that title?
Yeah.
Okay, well, right here, right now, I am declaring that I myself am actually the president of the United States, and caller that's on the phone right now is guilty of treason against the United States for besmearing the good name of the United States of America by okaying the criminal rights violations and violating the United States Constitution by saying that it's shushies, thank you, and saying that immigrants don't deserve due process, even though that's literally in the verbiage of the 5th and 14th United States Amendments and has been recertified by the United States Supreme Court 7 times. Therefore, you are guilty of treason. And as I am president of the United States, you are now sentenced to life without parole
in
You
prison.
don't have
Okay.
resources to support that title. We have resources to support our title
Heavy.
as the world's police, and we're doing a damn well good job of doing it.
And so
The reason
We're
that
doing a
America
good job.
hasn't taken
We're
over
doing a
Ukraine
good job.
or
That's fun.
pushed in further to take over Europe is because we're in NATO. NATO would be complete shit without us, without our funding, without our protection. The world would be complete shit. We need to be the world's police, or there's going to be countries
we owe
like
the
Soviet
United
Union that are
Nations
extremely
$400
unstable,
billion,
and they threaten
Pookie
people,
Pie.
and they threaten people with nukes constantly. So you're saying you want the Soviet
We
Union,
threaten
Nazi
people
Germany,
with nukes, dum
fucking
dum.
North Korea? You want a bunch of countries like that over the world?
How many
We need to be
countries
the world's
on the
police
face of
because
the
we need to
planet have
protect
ever
our
used
allies.
nuclear weapons?
Huh?
How many countries have ever used a nuclear weapon?
It's only been us that I know of.
Oh, it's only been us.
Oh.
So we should need to stop everybody else from having nuclear weapons because we're afraid
Yes.
they're going to use them, even though we're the only ones to ever use them.
Yes,
Oh,
correct.
you know what it sounds
We
like?
don't need a a dictatorship.
You know what it sounds like?
An extremely unstable country and a dictatorship.
You're right,
to have
sir.
nukes.
We
That
don't
is
need a
correct.
dictatorship in the United States. That's why you should make sure you go to your local No Kings protests, okay? But regardless of that,
yeah,
okay?
so I can go hang out with a bunch of fucking hippy dippy liberals that have nothing better to do. Yeah, because that's productive.
Hippie dippy
When the
liberals. By
fucking
that he
protests
by
are
that he
over, they're
by
gonna have
that he
nothing to do.
means
They're gonna go
by
right-
that he means actual intelligent people. That's what he means by that. By people that have read a book before. That's what his definition
I mean,
of,
if that makes sense, hippies.
yeah,
Hey,
that's what he means by hippy dippy liberal is someone who's read a book in the last decade that wasn't mostly pictures.
I can tell you that.
Okay, no, I don't care what you tell me. Anyways, this has gone so far off the fucking rails. It's crazy. Literally, sir, when we are literally sitting here, I don't understand why the United States needs to sit here and consistently spend billions, if not trillions of dollars. Okay. Telling places like Cuba what they can and cannot do. Okay. When we can't even get our own shit together, when we have literal human rights violations happening in the United States, when we have the highest incarcerated population on the planet, when we're still attacking LGBTQ communities, when black people still don't have the same rights as opportunities, and that's being attacked in the United States, we can't figure our own shit out, dude.
We have more guns than humans.
Yeah, and the highest the highest cause of preventable death in children is guns, like in the United States. We can't figure our own shit out, dude. We need to figure our own shit out before we start telling fucking Cuba whether or not they could be communists. Okay? Or whether we can go tell Europe, who have better social safety nets and better quality of life than we do, what they should or should not be spending their money on. All right? We need to figure our own shit out first before we start trying to figure out everybody else's, right? And the fact that you think that we should spend literally trillions of dollars being the world police, every single decade or whatever, that to not even get ourselves together, like, well, we can't even get a person that could literally pass a fucking that is proud of himself from being able to pick a lion out of a group of animals, right? That's who our fearless leader is somebody who gets super excited when he's like, this one's a lion, this one's a bear, this is what we're dealing with the United States. How about we just deal with like our country first before we start dealing with everybody else's, huh?
Times better than Biden.
The amount of money that we've spent on bombing Iran, we could have already paid for the next 10 years of universal health care for our citizens.
Yep.
Universal health care does not benefit U.S. citizens.
I wasn't talking to
In
you.
any
I
way.
was talking
Yeah.
to Polly. I didn't require your
okay.
interjection. Yeah.
I didn't know you weren't talking to me.
Oh, if you'd be quiet
Were
every
you?
once in a while, you'd know that.
I honestly
so
thought
I'm
he
just
hung
going
up
to let you know
because he
that
was
President
quiet
Trump
for
is
so
10 times
long.
better than Biden, and at least
Based off
those
what
cognitive
metric?
tests. At least he's
Based
doing
off what
cognitive
metric?
tests. Everybody knew Biden had dementia.
Based off what metric is Trump 10 times better than Biden? Give me one economic metric where Donald Trump is doing better on, please.
Well, Biden did that stupid ass Green Deal that shut down a main oil
That never
pipeline when he could have
passed.
been digging.
That never passed.
The
That
Green
never
New Deal
passed.
never
The Green
even
New Deal,
happened. Yeah.
it never passed. So wrong.
Maybe you should learn what Biden did before you start talking about how bad he is.
He didn't do
Yeah.
shit.
Oh, yeah. The PACT Act, the Chips and Sciences Act,
What's
the largest
the fucking
infrastructure
PACT
bill in
Act?
American history.
What's
See, you
the
don't
PACT
know.
Act?
See, you don't know. You don't even know what he did. You don't even know what
If
he
I
did.
don't know about it, it's not significant enough.
The
'cause I
Pact Act?
follow-
You don't know what the
I was
Pact Act?
following during
Oh,
Biden.
okay,
I was
gotcha.
following
So the
politics during
Pact
Biden's
Act.
term.
So the thing that you just said is unimportant since you don't know about it. Okay, the Pact Act is what literally gave our veterans who were victims of things like Agent Orange and burn pits and better health care for the rest of their lives because it actually added to their VA rating and gave them better health care. So when you said it was unimportant and doesn't fucking matter, you're literally saying fuck you to veterans.
Yeah, Biden
Hold on.
also.
All right. No. I want him to answer that. You're literally saying fuck you to fucking veterans if you're saying the Pact Act doesn't matter.
Actually, no, you're putting words.
Shut the fuck up. I wanted him to sit in that silence for a little bit. Sorry.
That's valid. No, you're good.
You don't even know what it's about, sir. You don't even know sir, what's the Chips and Science Act?
I don't fucking know.
Exactly. You don't know anything that Biden did. You don't know anything that Biden did.
I know he let 1.5 million illegal immigrants in the country. You like that?
You don't even know if that's higher or lower than anybody, sir. So first of all, you don't know what anything that Biden did. And here's the sad part, sir. You can sit there and say, oh, he's sleepy. Oh, he wasn't awake. He wasn't any of this stuff. And here's the sad part, sir. You can say that about Joe Biden all you want. You can say, oh, Joe Biden wasn't awake half the time. Joe Biden, half asleep the entire presidency, has done more meaningful legislation than Donald Trump has done in both of his terms combined times 10. Joe Biden passed more meaningful legislation, okay, in his 4 years than Donald Trump has done in both of his terms combined times 10. Donald Trump is golfing and fucking up the Strait of Hormuz and building a ballroom. That's his legacy, okay? Is starting a war that he never needed to start. Raising prices for the United States citizens, committing human rights violations. And that's his entire legacy, and you support it, all right? Because you didn't want a woman in there, right? Because she had a funny laugh. Isn't that right?
No, because she couldn't. Her press interviews.
Shut the fuck up, dude. Get the fuck off my live, bro. Jesus fucking Christ.
People are like, I do love that. All I did was ask for an economic metric, and I guess he didn't understand those two words, which I didn't realize that they would be too big for him, because we all know what economics is, right? At least I thought everyone knew. And metric, I get it, it's a unit of measure, and maybe that's a little bit hard to understand, but it's
not knowing. Let me be very clear. It's not knowing. Okay? I don't care if people don't know things. If you don't know things, that's totally fine. It's the not knowing and being so fucking confident in yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's not knowing anything and just pretending like you have a clue. Like, if you don't know something, then just shut the fuck up and listen, man. I'd be more than happy to teach. Just shut the fuck up and listen, bro. Why you gotta be loud and wrong? Like, that's crazy. Anyways, Tish, thank you so much for the Poly Obsessed. Thank you so much for that membership. I appreciate it. Make sure you guys hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really appreciate that. If you guys like support, thank you. First of all, thank you guys all so much for clearing out those swans. I appreciate that. That's very, very kind of you. If you like support, I do have the gifts over here. I do have super chats, and I do have gifting over on YouTube too. Plus pay links in the bio. So I really appreciate all of y'all. If you guys haven't gone and checked out my podcast, first of all, I believe the link tree should have the podcast in there. The link tree should have the podcast in there. So you should be able to click on it, and it just, all right, maybe you can check that out for me. But you should be able to click on it, and it should bring up all the different platforms that it's on. So you should be able to go check it out no matter where you check out podcasts. So please do that. If you guys are on YouTube, you can check it out there too. It's live right now. So that's really awesome. Zoe, thank you so much for the sunshine. Thank you so much. Tim, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Hey, Paulie, in your opinion, what presidents are in contention for the worst president of history? A lot of people that have different answers. Yeah, it's Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, and Donald Trump. Because he sucks really bad. That's it. He's the whole fucking list right now, to be completely honest with you. I had a couple different other names before him. He's the whole list now.
I would say Trump, Wilson, and Monroe.
Not even gonna throw Nixon in there? All right, that's a choice.
Nah, I mean, so he's following Woodrow Wilson's playbook, and he's following the Monroe Doctrine. So that's why I'm placing them, for giving him ideas.
The Monroe Doctrine had, the thing about it is though, like the Monroe Doctrine made a lot, not saying it was good, but it made a lot more sense when it was written. It makes no sense now.
Yeah,
You have to think about that. But so
They
so
gave
he's
him
taking a
ideas.
bad policy and making it worse. Yeah, also, I don't know how
Yeah.
Reagan's not in that list also. Anyways, thank you so much. Sean, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Last weekend they damaged 11 US base by barely blinking an eye. The low Kias are a lie. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they still have plenty of military power. Puff, thank you so much. Zoe, thank you so much. Sean again said, enlist infantry if you think Cadet Bone Spurs is so fucking great. Walk the walk, tough guy. Yeah, it's always dudes that I would have punched a drill sergeant. Yeah, it's always that guy that would have that always talks about how we need to be at war. It's pretty
Do people
crazy.
say that? Do they actually be like, I would have punched a drill
Oh,
sergeant?
I've heard it so many times. Oh yeah, I was gonna join the
That's dumb.
military, but I would have punched a drill sergeant in the face. No, you wouldn't. You would have got your ass beat real bad. Okay, and you're
Yeah,
a whole
exactly.
little scared little bitch is why you never joined. Don't even start that shit. Moreno, thank you so much for the $5. Said, I call them traitors because they love Trump more than they love the country, what it stands for, and the people in it. 100% Moreno, and thank you so much for that great comment. Moose from New Zealand with the 10 New Zealand dollars said, ask him where Israel got their nukes and enriched from. Bet he doesn't care about that. Yeah, I would also put some good money on that also. Thank you so much. And hi all the way in New Zealand. How you doing? Sean, thank you so much again for the $5. Said, if you back war based on lies, ego, defamation, you no longer are allowed to declare yourself pro-life. A 19-year-old soldier is a life too. Amen to that, Sean. Amen to that. Amen to that. I am anyways. Thank you so much, Sean. Mom, thank you so much. Di, thank you so much. Scott again says the only thing, or Scott, this is Scott for the first time. Sorry, that was Sean before. The only thing Trump is doing good in Iran is his ratings going down. To change the subject is the pillow talk. To change the subject, what is the pillow talk between you two? This is it.
Right now, I'm stuck on something that's related only to local that I'm not going over because
No,
I'm
like you
just
hear how
stuck
we
on
talk
it.
about politics. Like it's just this. Yeah, it's literally just this. We talk exactly like this. Like when we wake up in the morning, it's actually pretty funny. We'll just be like, "Oh, cool. Did you hear what was going on?" Anyways, it is really convenient.
Yeah, exactly.
Sean, thank you so much. Said your military is socialist. Fool. I was gonna bring that up. I already started talking. I was gonna bring up how the military is socialist. I really wanted to bring that up earlier, but I didn't get the chance. So thank you so much for bringing that up. Deborah, thank you so much for the laughing disco. Tom, thank you so much. Wesley, thank you so much. Said this guest is an uninformed chud from a veteran. Thank you for your service, Wesley. I appreciate you. Philip with the $5 says Dunning and Kruger would love to study these magas. Yes, they would. They would have too many. They would have too many case studies to even go off of at that point.
Oh,
And
I
Wesley,
remember.
hold on. All right, Wesley, thank you so much for the $2. Said, oh, this is the same thing as before. All right, I'm about to shut this thing down. I'm trying to go watch
No,
the
I
game.
know. I know, but I remember what I originally requested up here on is so when it comes to the double homicide argument with pregnant women, right? There are multiple levels that have to be reached, right? So, in almost every one of the 38 states where that is a thing, the woman had to have known that she was pregnant. In some states, they added contention on that she wanted to keep the pregnancy, but the main reason why it is considered a double homicide is because you are removing consent from the woman. That's why it still all boils down to consent.
Amen. Yeah. Well, I don't know any other better way to end than that. I think that's the best way to end the live. Yo, we'll be back on tomorrow sometime. And we will see you guys then. So I hope everybody has a wonderful night. W's the chat for Ari for coming up and joining for a while. And I hope to see you guys